Hello, my beautiful people. How are you doing? How is your day? How is your week? How is your month? How is everything? Hopefully, you're doing great and welcome back to my channel. And today, I'm going to take you step by step on how to make this wig. So, if you are my returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by. I do appreciate you allowing your support. But if you're new to this family, you're welcome. My name is Glory Mtoy, and before you leave, kindly give this video a big thumb up, subscribe, and don't forget to share with your loved one if you find this video is useful. I use only one pack of Brazil wool and I cut 16 inches long. And I go ahead and take these barbecue sticks. In every stick, I put 6 strands. And I make sure down they are even or a little bit longer. And then I go ahead and I start to wrap it on this stick. I make sure I roll before I wrap to make the twist. So go ahead, roll and then wrap, roll and then wrap. Keep repeat exactly the same process until the end of this wool. And before I forget, make sure at least you pull one strand a little bit longer so that you get enough wool to secure at the end. So as you can see, I roll and pull, and as we know, sometimes wool can stack on each other, so I make sure I pull down to get clean and neat curls. And then I keep wrapping. I pull a little bit and then roll, wrapping until the end. As you can see here, I don't need to add anything because I pull one strand longer so that I can get some wool to secure in the end. And this is how this wool looks like. I add a little bit of leave-in conditioner. You may use any kind of leave-in conditioner. It's not necessarily to use the one I use. So I put some and then I put hot water. And then I go ahead and I leave my wool in hot water. I allow them to stay in for about 5 minutes. And then I take them out and I allow them to become natural dry. So I leave there for a whole day and I make sure they are 100% dry. So here is the next day. I take wig cap. I wish to use black color, but unfortunately when I was doing this video I realized that I don't have black color, so I decided to use this brown color. So I take one and I attach it on my doll, and then I make sure I secure it so that it will be easier for me to crochet the hair. This is our wool, and I'm going to pull from the end slowly. Make sure you roll and pull, and then unravel the wool from the stick. And then because we wrap together, make sure before you pull the stick out, you put your finger in between the wools so that it will be easier for you to split the wools. To avoid tangling, go ahead and cut the end a little bit to make easily for you to split the wools. So in every piece, I make sure I get 4 pieces, so I cut twice. And then I make sure I start to section the wool, and every time I only section into 1 pieces, just like the way you see. And this is how the wools looks like. So take your crochet needle, and here I'm going to use the small one. As you can see, they are big and small, but I'm going to use small one. I make sure I open the crochet hook. I take my 1 strand, I put on crochet hook, and then I cover or I close the crochet hook, and then I pull the wool through. Then I make sure I secure the wool well. Again, I open my crochet hook, I pull the wool, and then I open again and pull all pieces and I secure it. And because I want my wig to be fully, I make sure every time I crochet very closely from one wool to another. But if you don't want your wig to be fully, go ahead and keep some space when you are crocheting. But if you want your wig to be fully, make sure you are crochet very closely from one crochet to another or from one wool to another. In front, because I want this wig to cover my forehead, I make sure I crochet from down just like this way. And at this point, I make sure I crochet more closely compared with how I crocheted in the back, because as we know, front is the part going to define or to cover your face. So you have to make sure that side, that part is more fully than other parts. And then I keep crochet until I make sure I finish and I make sure my wig is fully.
Here we go. I see the light inside you, brighter than the skies. Hold on, just let us escape and fly away tonight. There's so many things that I keep in my mind. Like the past is the reason why all the emotions I built up inside you.
So here I'm done with crochet and I go ahead and I start to trim. I make sure every time when I trim fewer hair. So I will keep trimming to my desired length. So you may either decide to keep longer or you may either decide to trim and keep it more short. It's all up to you depending on what it's good for you or what do you want. And then let me go ahead and put on my wig. I make sure I pull my wig well. And then I go ahead and I make sure I fix my wig well, because in front of me, no mirror. So let me go ahead and use small mirror to fix my wig. When I keep fixing, I make sure I pull some wool out to make my wig even more fully and to give it natural texture. And this is the final look for today's video. Hopefully you enjoy watching this video and you get something. If yes, kindly give this video a big thumb up, subscribe and comment. And don't forget to let me know in comment section, what do you think about this wig? I love you guys and I will see you soon. Bye.